Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of the Grand Boulevard Coalition, GBC. I'm clear that we're having technical difficulties. This is not the Southside Help Center show. This is the GBC Grand Boulevard Coalition show. And due to some technical difficulties that we're having here at CAN TV, you may not necessarily be airing us live, but we are streaming, and you will be able to catch this broadcast on YouTube. Well, I'm going to get right into this show. Tonight, we have a very exciting guest, a brother who's been with us before, a willing and able worker and partner in our efforts in the Grand Boulevard community to curb underage drinking and drugging. Our guest tonight is Mr. William Penn. How are you, William?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Happy New Year to you, sir.
Happy New Year to you, too.
All right, and before we get right into this, I just want to tell you a little bit about the Grand Boulevard Coalition. The Grand Boulevard Coalition is a coalition of community stakeholders who are in the Grand Boulevard communities who are focusing on preventing underage drinking and the uses of marijuana and drugs in the Grand Boulevard community. Just a few of our stakeholders and community partners are the Institute for Positive Living, Reverend Maurice Coverson, the Green Light Movement, Ms. Roxanne Jackson, who's the Executive Director, Recovery 2000, Ms. Izetta Walton, the Centers for New Horizon, Ms. Krista Hamilton, I should say, is the Executive Director there. Chicago Public Schools Liaison to our organization is Mr. Lafayette Ford, the Bronzeville Community Clubhouse, Mr. John Cook, and last but not least, we couldn't do many of the things we do in the Grand Boulevard community without having our local elected official, the 3rd Ward Alderman, Pat Dow, who's been a great supporter and partner in our efforts to curb underage drinking and drugging. And yes, today is Thursday. I like to say that Thursday the 12th, and we're going into the Cubs convention weekend. So I have my championship hat on today. This is the Cubs weekend. All right, enough of that. Let's get serious. Back to the point of this show. This is a drug-free community show. And if you can hear us, you can still call in. Yes, you can call in. 312-738-1060. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. And again, we're having a bit of technical difficulties that it may or may not be fixed before the end of the show, but just bear with us. Either way, Mr. William Penn.
Yes, sir.
So for those folks who are watching us probably for the first time this year, tell us a little bit about William Penn. Who is William Penn?
Okay. Well, my name is William Penn. I work, live, and play in the Bronzeville community of the Grand Boulevard area. I'm currently the Dean of STEM at Perspective Charter School, Math and Science. I work with a coalition of individuals in the tech entrepreneur space in conjunction with IIT. And I am the parent coordinator for the GBC, getting more parents involved in healthy, clean living and teaching their kids about the right from wrong and using drugs, alcohol, and other paraphernalia that's not good for them.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, and as a parent, and we've had this discussion before. You're a parent, I'm a parent, but as a parent, William, just talk a little bit about ways that parents can some indicators or some ways to identify if in fact their children are using.
Well, yes, I know that usually the 5 senses, so you can sniff when they're coming home from school or coming in and sniff them and see how they smell by just giving them a nice hug as if you saying hello.
Yeah.
And you could see that, and if you smell something along those lines, you obviously can set them down and nip it in the bud right then and there and find out what the problem is. I also check my kids' phones on a weekly basis, making sure that everything they're doing on there is pretty much on the up and up, and that their friends that they hang out with must come by the house and meet myself to make sure that they are okay and good kids, and that I know where they are when they're not in the house, and that I know who their parents are just as much as I want them to know who I am.
Yeah, and I think one of the points you mentioned, which is really critical and important, is the fact that you get engaged with your children and you get to know who their friends are and who they're hanging out with, right? But also showing that level of concern as it relates to checking their phones or checking, just being just generally, or for layman terms, being nosy and just getting
you
involved.
have to be nosy.
Yeah, I agree with you as it relates to that, William. Far too many of our children are what they call latchkey, in the sense that their parents are working, they come home, there's no one there, and so I believe a lot of the use of drugs and alcohol happens because the children are basically at home alone most of the time,
Right.
and they're able to idly run the streets or go out before the parent comes home from work. So if there's no process or mechanism where there's someone watching over them or someone engaged with them, or if the parent, like you, is not really intrusive or involved, then it leaves open those possibilities. And then your child, like I think my son, I'm going to go to the mall with my friends today. We're meeting up, and I'm going to catch the bus over there. No, you're not. I don't. Who are these friends? I've never met them. So I think those asking the critical questions: who are your friends? Who are their parents? And getting to know people that your children or young people, other young people that your children are hanging around, is very crucial. You talked a little bit about the schools and being in the schools. So in Grand Boulevard, because you've been in and out of some schools and so have I. Overall, do you think that the school system has created an environment, a drug-free kind of, in a sense, environment? Do you see counselors or are there any special educational courses that deal with the issue of use of drugs and alcohol as relates to teens in the schools?
I don't see. Very good question. Very good question. I don't see. I am in 4 different schools on a weekly basis.
All right.
I don't see classes and stuff along those lines, but I've noticed that all the schools are promoting a healthy lifestyle, which is from our First Lady, with clean eating and proper eating and stuff. And I think that goes into it maybe off the cuff or second-handedly by saying, how you're supposed to eat right and exercise and all those type of things to be healthy, to proceed and do positive things within their life will give you a sense that these kids are also understanding that to do that, smoking and alcohol and drugs is not something that they should partake in. But actually having classes and stuff in school, I personally haven't seen anything like that. But that's a good question that I would definitely take back and see are there some programs and stuff within school.
Yeah, I know that the First Lady's got her Let's Move movement and some of those other things, and certainly they would take the chips and soda pop out of the school. So
right.
It's certainly, even though it's illegal, cigarettes and tobacco and marijuana and alcohol, it certainly shouldn't be something that is used in the school. And listen, our tagline, for full disclosure, within the GBC and the Grand Boulevard Coalition is most youth don't use. And you will hear from some of our other coalition partners as it relates to this as we move forward. My bigger issue or broader issue, parental involvement, and how important is parental involvement from a community-based organization perspective, but even, William, within the school system perspective.
Well, I think it's very important, and I find that being a parent advocate, trying to get more parents involved with the kids in school and just showing up to school and hanging out for a few minutes. And you're right, we all work and have different things, but if you could take an off day or get off early a half a day and just come and visit the school and just being in the hallways and saying hi to the kids, that gives the kids a reinforcement, I guess. Going back to the adage, takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
Just saying kind words to these kids when they leave school means a lot. I know at one prospective school, the teacher, principal, and everybody, they stand in the hallway and say goodbye to the kids as they all go out. They all have to go out one particular door, so they kind of get there as a group and kind of rally and let the kids know that they're cared for and that they're looking forward to seeing them first thing in the morning to get it started again.
Yeah, it's so daily affirmations,
It's a
if
daily,
you will.
exactly.
Yeah, that they get reinforcement at the school system, at the school level. I guess that's very important. And you like to talking about parents also affirming their children as they go out. So being that you are doing some work in the schools, right? And you are a parent coordinator here at GBC, or advocate, if you will. How about just in the community, right? So you live in the Grand Boulevard community.
Yes, sir.
And so from an adult parent perspective, as you walk around, as I do, I live in the Grand Boulevard community as well. And some days it's rough walking up and down some of the main thoroughfares. I mean, you know, as I always come on, you know, if it's loud, or Lucy,
Right.
you know, what do you think? Because some people take the role that, you know, as long as they don't affect me and my children, I want to do with it. Do you feel like we, as parents, as men now, and especially men who live in these communities, and because if we hear it, our children hear it on the way, if they're walking home or if
Yes,
they're
they
on the
do.
bus.
Right,
So,
right.
and I know how it makes me feel. What do you think our role should be, just as men or adults in those communities? What do you, just as a sidebar, what do you think our role should be as it relates to that?
Well, I think that obviously protect yourself and be mindful of your surrounding, but I know I live on I live on State Street, not too far from the Starbucks,
Okay.
where several different schools are converging in one area. I do try to speak, when I get up and I'm up and out early, I try to say good morning and speak, and even though a lot of the kids look at me like I'm crazy, but it's a way of letting them know, hey, I see you, you see me, and give them hopefully a sense of being watched, so to speak.
Okay.
Sometimes when I do see kids acting bad, if I feel that I'm in a safe area or a safe for my safety, that I will say I have said something.
Okay.
You know, for example, before school, kids were unfortunately getting high, and
Wow.
I say, you know, you guys shouldn't be doing this before school. And I don't really want to smell this, so you should be moved from where you guys are doing this. Let's get to school.
Yeah.
And I felt comfortable in doing that, and not that they would turn. You know, you never know when something good can turn bad. And they apologized and moved on and actually went on to school, because I watched them as they walked to school. But those are the type of things that we have to do. We just kind of got to get our shells and speak to the youth, speak to people in general. I know you and I grew up. I'm much older than you, but people spoke.
Oh, are you?
But people
I just
spoke.
shaved real well. I mean, you know, maybe they would say Rogaine. I don't know. Okay,
I
all
gotta
right.
give you some of that. But as you were saying, but you know, people spoke. You walk down the street,
Yeah.
and if you didn't say nothing, you nod your head and you acknowledge them. They
Yeah.
acknowledge you back, and you kept on going. You make you feel good that, hey, somebody acknowledged me, and it was something really prevalent in our neighborhood, in our community. We just gotta, as parents and as individuals, just kind of bring that back.
Yeah.
And just speak and say hi. You know, it goes a long way.
Yeah, and so William, why do you think? So I asked the question, so I'll let you go first, and then because you're the guest tonight.
Okay.
Why do you think those young people are getting high before they go to school? Why do you think they're using or smoking? In many cases, I know what it is. This loud, this real hydroponic marijuana. Why do you think? Have you ever asked them? Yeah.
You know, that particular case in time, no, I've never, as an adult with my own kids now, asked why they would do something like that. Definitely would be something that I would think about in the future if it presents itself to see, just because I would want to know. But I mean, just from being around kids and being in school, I just think it's just being cool and letting off steam, and they trying to use it as a coping mechanism to kind of maybe go through the day. But these kids, you know, they're not bad kids. They're just kids that maybe school's not for them, and they're not being reached. And so us trying to have different programs and different opportunities within our high schools and our grade schools to reach kids of all different types, you know,
Yeah.
through the spectrum. we'll start curbing that when they actually have something to look forward to going to school and so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, you just touched on an issue that which is another off topic about schools and young people participating in schools and the number of schools that are existing in our community and the buildings are half empty because they don't go. But, I've had the occasion, like you, of seeing young people smoking or getting high. Not so much of the drinking aspect. They talk about it, and you probably would see some of the use of the alcohol now because they mix it with this cough syrup, liquid codeine, and they make this lean drink. But
You so up on what's going on.
well, I mean, now listen, I'm a man about the people. I mean,
Okay.
I walk the streets. I mean, and so the only way you're going to know is to talk to them, right?
Right.
And so I've had conversations with young people, and I've even had an experience with my own daughter, 17 years old, which I'm going to talk next week when we have on our youth coordinator, Mr. Perry Walton. But, we got to call her. All right. Good evening, caller. You on the air?
Yes, sir. Good evening. Great show as always. I was thinking when he said that, why do kids go to get high before?
Pick up a little bit, caller.
Okay, I'm sorry. You were saying about the kids getting high before going to school. They get high, so they get them to school. You understand what I'm saying? Otherwise, they ain't going to get up off that bed. Man, when I was growing up, if I even thought about smoking some pot, I wouldn't have been able to go to school because I had a broken leg or something. But the parents have to know, because you can smell it from a mile away if the kids are smoking pot or not. So you can't, they say don't blame the parents, but you have to blame some of them because they're getting high too. And that's why we're all messed up. No, there aren't any men like the two of you up there. And myself, I raised two kids going through college. That if something had to be said or done, we said it and we did it. None of this back talk or you can't go out in front of the house because you're going to get shot. No, but that's what I wanted to make a point about you and some who just smoke to get to school. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your call, caller. And I know because of the technical difficulties, thank you for your call, and I'm glad you were able to get in. This is the Grand Boulevard Coalition Show. We're discussing drug-free communities. Our number is 312-738-1060. We have been having a few technical difficulties, but it looks like CAN TV is working that out. Thank you very much. But I could hear a little bit of what you said, caller, and I would just add to this.
Right.
Many of the young people I talk to say that they're dealing with all kind of stuff, from the pain in their houses, from not having a father at home, a father in jail, or they're angry, they're upset, and smoking marijuana helps relax them. And it went from the teachers be doing too much. This is their language, not mine.
Right.
And so I don't know what doing too much is. It's outside of a person trying to educate you. But nonetheless, that's their verbiage. But I can tell you, some streets I walk down, man. Have you ever walked past a barbecue house where you can smell the barbecue about a mile before you get there?
Yeah.
Man, brother, the other day I was walking down. I hate to say 47th Street. I always talk about my beloved 47th Street. Man, when I got to the alley around about the Calumet, it just like knocked me away. I'm walking down, going under the hill, man. And it's just amazing, man. And there you go, two brothers standing by the L station, firing up. Young guys. I say, hey, man, I can smell this a mile away. Yeah, you can. It's real good. Yeah. You want some? We got that loud. Anyway, we got a caller. Caller, you on the air. Good evening, caller. You on the air.
How you doing, my brothers?
How are you?
I'm wonderful. First, I know actually both of you brothers, and I just want to say much respect to you brothers for you guys continuing the struggle. And my main thing right now in our community is in trying to implement global business so that we can actually compete when we go to banks and some of our city officials saying that we want to start small businesses. Most of us are having a hard time competing because we actually believe that our people are supposed to shop with us just because of the color of our skin. And the truth is that even back in the days, we had better products than other people, and we had better prices. So therefore, our people dealt business with us based on that, not just because we were all black businesses. And so that's the reason why I'm trying to do global business. Same thing with this drug epidemic. A lot of us, black men like yourselves, are not allowed on Fox, CSNBC, and CNN, and other networks to actually speak the truth of what's really going on in our communities. Right now, in our city, our sisters run this, and so do white women. And that was showed in the Trump election that most of our women have came out to vote, and whether we want to admit it or not, they're voting for what they so-called see as a strong male. Look at Rahm Emanuel. This is a brother who came out and apologized for being aggressive. Listen to Trump and some of the words that he's been caught saying as far as being disrespectful to women, being disrespectful to certain races. A lot of the women have fell victim to thinking that this is a strong male. And so Rahm Emanuel, Donald Trump, these people are being elected. And so some of us have to realize what's happening right now is that they're asking for our lives. And this is probably one of the rawest things that's going to be said here tonight. They're asking for some of the lives of some of us strong brothers like myself and some of you brothers up here to get out here and fight for our people and risk our lives for our people. And so while we disrespect, and I'm not giving any props to any of these people, but when we disrespect Al Sharpton, Jesse, and all these people who tried, we never have had this experience of having people calling the house, threatening our lives. And so therefore...
Caller, I appreciate your call, man. We're getting short on time, man. I hear you. I hear you.
Thank you, brothers. I just want to say to y'all, thank you, and continue to struggle, brother. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, William, we're getting short on time. I just want to give the people some information on how they can reach the Grand Boulevard Coalition. You can reach us at Grand Boulevard Coalition, 435 East 35th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60610. And here's our email address, Grand Boulevard Coalition at GBC, Gmail, at GBC, Grand Boulevard Coalition at gmail.com, or you can Facebook us at Grand Boulevard Coalition too, as well. We're getting short on time, and so, I want to thank all you guys for watching us, and as our man back there, Mr. Perry Walton, not only is the phone technician, but he's also our youth advocate, and he will be my guest next week. Perry and many other young people that we're working with is the future of our community, and so we need to promote our young people as much as possible. So we'll dive more into young people issues and what young people are going through, and I will share next week experience that I had with my 17-year-old daughter, who is a junior at Lincoln Park High School. So I thank you all. William, thank you for being my guest this week, man.
Thank you for having
me. Keep up the good work that you're doing.
I'm trying.
Mr. Perry Walton is smacking on his gum back there.
I'm sorry.
That's all right, buddy. He's still, hey, he's Perry Walton. Perry Rashad Walton. You got anything you want to say before we go off?
Yeah, just to add what you were saying, yeah, we could get more into like the youth, because I am a part of the youth and the problem, so things we'll be digging a little deeper. So
all right, we're gonna get deeper next week. Between now and next week, keep the faith. Peace.